My name is Vid.4. I'm a researcher with Women Economic Empowerment Hub. In this video, we are going to focus on Rukia Subow. Kindly introduce yourself.
My name is Rukia Subow. That's my husband's name, Subow. Ambassador Rukia Subow. My father's name is Ali Olo. So we have Olo also in our community. So I was born in Wajir County, but raised in Nyeri and Nanyuki. My father being a soldier in military. I did conflict management and issues of gender issues in different. I'm an expert in small arms issue because I went for training in ISS, that is Institute of Security Studies in South Africa. I did my conflict management in Birmingham University, and they did a good governance before I joined constitution making in Kenya in Maquette University and Les Aspin in Washington and Maquette University.
When did you join Maendeleo?
I joined in 1984, actively. But the concept of Maendeleo Wanawake was different that time than today. Those days it was issues of kitchen garden for the women, how to eat with utensils, different kind of utensils and cutleries, how to take care of your baby, breastfeeding your child. We had several chairmen, but I was the only chairman from Northern Kenya. And it is very competitive election, you know that. When I left Maendeleo, we had 4 million members all over the country. I'm proud to say that I was vice for 5 years, but later I was elected by the whole country. They don't look at my background that I'm a Muslim, I'm a Somali, I come from a different ethnic group, but they elected me and I defeated women who were powerful.
How were you, as Rukia, involved in constitution making process?
I represented the women organization. We were many of us, but not really many women organizations because we were all amalgamated together so that we bring out women issues. But there are also representatives from the districts. You know, we didn't have counties, we had districts all over the country and regional. Maendeleo Wanawake women from grassroots were more women in constitution making than other highly educated women who were members of CKRC. When women talk, they might not talk legal issues on constitution making, but they will talk example. When they say, I want my child to go to school because I'm poor, I cannot pay. It came in the constitution as free primary education or health issues. But very interesting thing, that kind of the constitution making to the women or to the whole country was a poor man's constitution, not really rich man's constitution, because whatever they are talking about, it was basically our foundation by, it was taken by poverty issues. You cannot afford medical, you cannot afford education or farming. When you do farming, you need fertilizer, you need machinery, but these women could not afford, or men could not afford. So every region had its own issues. Nyanza and Western Kenya had an issue of wife inheritance, land, where they wanted their daughters and their sons to share land of their fathers, which was also cultural barrier to those communities. You go to coast region because Muslims, they had their own issues of divorce, marriages, and inheritance, which Qadhi's court was the issue they were talking about. When we go to Northeastern, they were talking of marginalization, which was really very painful. We had so many massacres in northern Kenya, Wagala massacre, Garissa massacre, Mandera massacre. And when the women and the men were talking about of making constitution, they felt they don't belong to this country. They thought they are outsiders from the country. They will ask you, where is Kenya? We don't belong to them. They killed us, the soldiers killed us. When one does harm, the whole community blanketly is punished. So you lose a lot of women are raped, you go through battering, killing their animals and those things. So those were the issues coming out from every region. Central province, it was issue of education, agriculture, and up to now, still those issues stand there.
Was that in Ufungamano or in Bomas? When did they come out?
There were many forums. There were Mfungamano, there were other regional by CKRC who were interviewing people at the regional level, and many others. It started from, as women, we used to say that this is like river. You remember Wajiko's book, that river, that with so many tributaries. So when we talk from everywhere, we will meet in one place and make a bigger river. That was how women were seeing this, because they were really, to them, there were bigger percentage in the country, populace, but they were not participating in government activities or any jobs or employment or educational or scholarship. Mostly were given to young men than the women.
So, what were the strategies that you used as women to ensure that your issues were taken into consideration?
In Bomas, we are divided into committees. You know that very well, because there are different categories of people. There are women who are seated at judiciary committee, security committee. I was in security committee because that was my interest. Others in agriculture, others in land, which was, we had junk of women, really huge number in land, because that was the main interest. And the backbone of this country, though it is agriculture we talk about, is the women. Because without women, I think our children could have not been where they are today. So when we went to Bomas, we came together as women, as organizations, not as Maendeleo, but all organizations together so that we look at our issues. Our issues were very important because it's issues for everyone, not only women. When you empower a woman, you are not empowering women alone. You are empowering the whole family and your children. So women were looking at these issues. Some of them didn't know about it, but they were talking in their own vernacular languages and saying, no, my father left very big land, but I'm married outside. When my husband dies, I can't come back home. I will not be given land. You see, those are the issues that are coming, issues of property when your husband dies. Marriages of widowers, which women were forced to marry brother of the husband who had even HIV. So there were those issues that are coming out, like education of their girls, and education of their children, issues of sharing government jobs and employment. Those are the issues that are coming out. as I told you before, every region had their own issues that when they brought it up, issues like security, it was everywhere. It was covering every region, though places like our borders, like Mandera is just some half a kilometer, not even half, less, some yards to Somalia and yards to Ethiopia. Security was their main issues. And it is true, security really covered most of them. Because northern Kenya thought they are shield for the other part of the country. Because anything happening within the border, they're the ones who will go through it first before it reaches Nairobi. So that is what was coming out.
What were the efforts made by women to ensure that their issues were not left out?
What we used to do in the morning before we go to our committees, we used to meet and, try to brief everybody that today in my committee, this was the issue. Example like my committee of security, the issue that came back, which was very touchy, was amalgamating police and administration police together, as it is now. But by that time, many committee members were not happy about it, trying to put police and administration police together. That was an issue. Some parts of this country, like the central province, administration police was chief askari, chief, or chief soldier for many years, and they are not loved because of during colonial time. But places like my home, administration was better than police. They were more armed, they were more trained than the police. So there was that kind of conflict within ourselves in that committee. So I have to relay the same, whatever we did yesterday, to my other colleagues and other committees. The land lady who is a chair of that committee that was formed, we used to have a chair of a woman. And she tells us, this is what we discussed yesterday, and we think we are going through this.
So you are telling me, as a strategy, women used to go to their different committees and then bring everything that they had discussed to be
at the forum
together.
Yeah.
What are the efforts that were made by women to ensure that their issues were not left out?
We had women who were very vocal on our issues, like Millie Odhiambo, Sophia Abdi, and many other women now, and also members of even commissioners themselves. We were lobbying with them, trying to lobby the other commissioners, the male commissioners. Some of them were not friendly, but we used to send through other women who have connection with that political party team. We used to talk to them.
For example?
Sometimes back, you remember, we went to Raila Odinga to talk to the commissioners so that this issue goes well. He really supported affirmative action. Kiraitu Murungi was very good. He really supported affirmative action.
Can you remember some of the women leaders who are on the front line, pushing the constitutional reform process and keeping it alive?
There are many women. There are very many women, not only Maendeleo Wanawake as the leadership, but we had many other organizations. We had Ida Odinga, who was very good, because Women Political Caucus. We had Mama Kabira. She was really making it lively. We had women like Zomo, Maria Zomo, who was also in university. By that time, she was really making it there. There are many other women like Jane Kiano, Mama Asio. There are many women in this country who are really good at trying to bring women. Karua, she was really spearheading women, though later she formed her own political party. But before that, she was really vocal on women issues. Gilu is one of them, who was really, in northern Kenya, it was me and Sophia. Because of that constitution, it gave us a lot of hope, and we came to know that women can do a lot, much better. And that's why me and Sophia contested parliamentary election in 97. Because that time it was when women were really, we tried to talk to the women from grassroots, and the grassroots women were ready that if we can be treated the same like men, it will be much better. The country will even develop.
Which strategies did you use that worked during the constitution making process?
I think it's selflessness. These women they were not looking for positions. We were not looking for positions. We wanted a better future for our children, our girls. That is what were driving most of women. I know there are many women who made it to the parliament because of our fight on affirmative action, and many of them have not seen that parliament. There are very few women who are fighting or advocating for affirmative action. Right now in the parliament is only Millie Odhiambo, Alice Wahome, Professor Kamar. I think I can count like 4 or 5 in the parliament.
Who are involved in the
process
that
the
now
issue.
made it?
Yeah.
Rukia, if you were asked to mention some of the key women gains in the constitution, what would you say?
I think we have many gains, although we are not 100%. In the parliament right now, we are 22%. We used to be even less, 9%, but now it's 22. We are better off. In Senate, we have 21 women, which is out of 66, it is 20, I think 30%, or 30%, 33 or 30% in Senate. There are many appointed women in other different managerial.
So we can see generally women have gotten up to leadership.
Yeah.
Can you say that the constitution has empowered women economically?
Very well.
Economically?
Economically, because there are many funds that go to the grassroots right now. OVA, you know what is OVA?
OVA.
Yeah, that's orphans transfer cash. There's elderly transfer cash. Women Enterprise Fund, where women groups or chamas are given money to do business. I think
there's gap.
There is.
Let me take you back a bit. What lessons can we learn from women's mobilization and negotiations during constitution making process that can be used to empower women economically? Lessons that we learned
from constitution making. I think women can be mobilized. If political parties can mobilize women to vote for them, they can do the same also to empower women. The same.
Political parties to empower women?
No, political parties use women. You know, Maendeleo was loved because we had the number. And that's why every political party were fighting Maendeleo to be on board with their political parties. And that's why Maendeleo was mostly with the government. And even sometimes Maendeleo was called Kanu Maendeleo Wanawake before I joined, of course, before I became the chair. I was lucky that when I came in, there was no Maendeleo Wanawake. When Kitonyi left, it went with her.
There was no Kanu
Maendeleo Wanawake. So if we can mobilize for the political parties, we can also mobilize the same women groups or organizations to do empowerment for women.
What are the things that can be done to bring women to the center stage of doing big business?
I think big business is big money. Women don't have capital. But the only thing that can help them is bring them together as chamas and give them big money. I know there are many women, not the much that we love to have, but there are women who are contractors in Kenya. There are many women who are doing a lot of business. If you go to Isli right now, The only business going on there, like clothing, importing clothes, importing furniture, are done by women, not men. Men, they left them for business here, hotel, restaurants.
Who owns the business? Is it the women, or men who own business and women are running the businesses?
No, it is their own. I would like to talk to the young women of this country. We did all that to give them a space so that they can take it. The baton is given to them, but they are not interested. I think they should have interest, because as they age, they will come to a stage where they will not do much work. They need to do what we have been doing. And we did that for them. So I think women have to be seen and heard.